Oh, look, I am live. Yes, yes, I am live. Um, it is the end of the year. It's almost 2024. And I am doing I guess this will be the last stream for the year. Hell, who knows? It might probably be the last stream in general. um, we had some highs and some lows, and you know, with pop culture, geek culture, just culture in general. Who knows where the future holds for all of us? But it is what it is at this point. It feels kind of like a swan song, sort of. Oh my God, here we go again. Jesus Christ, Lord have mercy. Jesus, I just like, hmm, who knows what we'll do? We'll see. Let's see. Well, hold on. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I already know. YouTube done like suppress this channel anyway, so who cares? But this video will be up for everybody to look at when they feel like it. um what are my goals for 2024? Well, my goals, that is a hard one. I'm not gonna make any goals right now because anytime you make a goal, you always say you're gonna do it, but then life happens. So um I would just hope that the next year would be more prosperous. Yeah, more prosperous. So yeah, that'll be something. That's what I'm hoping. Um hey, that's really cool. You toured the Capitol. I bet that was fun. Um Hopefully maybe entertainment will get better. Um Maybe play a little bit more video games. Less mm, I would say probably less social media. I think I probably need to chillax. I mean, I know it looks like I'll be on social media a lot because I'll be posting some of the videos, but honestly, I really be like having them timed or whatever so I can have them uploaded. Sometimes the timing be off, but hey, it is what it is. Maybe less social media, less art, and who knows, maybe less conventions is what I'm thinking about maybe for the new year. Um, it's just because this stuff is a little disheartening. Honestly, you see this stuff and you're just like wow, like what else can you do? You can like talk about it, you can scream it out, shout it out, or whatever. But it's just like if you're just screaming to a void, what's the point? Like you got this whole nonsense right now with DC and Marvel, right? And then you got this whole thing about um god damn it, I'm Eric July. The Eric July situation where people always say that nobody's owed anything, and that's true. No one is owed anything and stuff like that. And a lot of people that are hating against him, I just say, just do your work. Instead of hating on him, why don't you just do your own thing? And if it's not successful, it is what it is. Failure. Like for instance, a lot of y'all don't know that, you know, I do artwork on the side, of course. And I post it. Um, and me posting my artwork on social media, um, I don't get any interactions with a lot of my work at all, honestly. And even though try to post something daily, even though I try to, improve on artwork, try to do some coloring or whatever, sometimes it's just not for everybody. And that's why I always look at the work that I do on the side when I'm not actually at work is hobbyist things. You know what I'm saying? I don't really um try to be like, I'm going to go and attack somebody or whatever. Yeah, I might review some stuff or whatever, but I'm reviewing it because, either I'm liking it or because sometimes I take some people's suggestions and, try it out, do something new with everything and just kind of see what's going on. You know what I mean? Other than that, I don't go in there and be like, my work is way better than this person. Not, of course, we've all kind of said that kind of thing when we see like certain things where you just be like, come on now. Like I remember I saw some chicken shit. I saw some chicken shit drawings, whatever, one time. It was this person on social media, and he was quote unquote drawing celebrities. When I tell you his drawings was like 5-year-old drawings, and people were like, where can I buy it? And he was selling them for like massive amount of money, and people were like buying it, and I was just like, absolutely not. I know damn well I might not be the best artist, but come on now, even I can do that. So we've all had that thing. But like I said, whatever's going on with the independence thing, because I don't really know much about Comicsgate or the independent side of comic books like that. So I'm not an expert, so I don't know what beef is going on between anybody. I don't know who's out of following. I don't know who don't like each other anymore, any of that kind of stuff. So don't go by anything I'm saying is like factual truth, but I'm just saying from what I saw on Twitter is that it seems like everybody's mad that Eric July isn't supporting a lot of the folks in the independence or Comicsgate or something like that. And that he only got lucky because he worked on the Blaze or whatever and stuff like that. Something like that. And I'm just like, well, he said he's been on YouTube for excuse me, for about 18, 17 years, I believe. And he has a 500 million followers or whatever and stuff like that. So, I mean, is it not impossible that those 500 million followers gave him money? You know what I'm saying? I gave him money. Um, again, I don't agree with everything Eric says, but hey, I gave him money because I thought like, hey, put up or shut up. And he put up, and there's a lot of people in the independent industry and in the Comicsgate industry that will talk all that nonsense, and a lot of the books are still late. You ain't got nothing, and yet you still upset that Eric's doing his thing. But I'm just like, well, he was able to get out 3 books, and he was able to put out merchandise like posters and um, t-shirts, sweaters, hats as well. What are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Instead of hating on the man, use what like see what he's doing, and then go from there. I'm not saying everybody's going to be successful. I'm not saying everybody's going to, get the pot out or whatever. But I don't know if we need to continue to hate on it all the time. I mean, hate on this person, especially when a lot of people be like, oh, we want more minorities into the geek culture. And then when you got a minority person in the geek culture, a lot of y'all are against it. It's the most weirdest thing ever, but that's neither here nor there. I am so sorry. I wasn't trying to ignore you guys, but I was kind of on this little thing. Rosalind said hello, and I say hi. Did you hear about Tim Play Disney might produce? No, I do know. about anything that Disney is producing right about now. People are dependent sometimes to the point that they don't know any alternatives or can't create, which is why they hate Eric. You're probably right. You mean the Little Mermaid? Why would they create a new Little Mermaid play? For what reason? They already have the Little Mermaid play on Broadway. Well, I mean, is it still on Broadway now? Okay, if they do, if they make her black, I just don't know. I don't know why they would keep killing their cash cow like that. People don't understand. Like the Little Mermaid is Disney's most marketable Disney princess of all time, and they keep trying to do dumb things with her. It makes no sense. Um, can you believe it's about to be 2024? No, not really. But apparently, here we are. Oh, here we are. Here we are. Like, here we are. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. No, I didn't skip any questions. Hello, Omega. Um, I will forget when I saw Wonder Woman with the penis. Yeah, I'm about tired of seeing. That's another thing I'm about getting tired of. I'm about getting tired of seeing all these artists online right about now, fetishizing DC and Marvel heroes because it's weird. It is weird. You got Wonder Woman with the penis fucking other people. You got gay artists who professionally work for DC and Marvel making, gay images and stuff with DC property characters. And I just think to myself, if you work for DC, even if you're what's that goddamn thing? Freelancing for them. I feel like if you're freelancing for them and you're drawing their characters, you shouldn't be drawing their characters in any sexual manner outside of the norm, which means that if you know Batman and Superman aren't gay, then you should not be making Batman and Superman gay art, honestly, and pushing it. And that's a lot of stuff that's being pushed on social media, is that kind of stuff. Or then another thing that's really bothering me with just artists in general is you got a lot of y'all claim that y'all love these female comic book characters, but be the main ones redrawing and redesigning the female characters, where they either thick, another race that's not what their race is, or they're covered up. And I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Why can't y'all appreciate a woman being beautiful? Why can't you appreciate a woman being curvy or whatever? Why can't you appreciate the fact that she doesn't wear that much clothes? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me I love Wonder Woman and then you draw her in all of this fucking armor. That's stupid. You can't tell me you love the character of Starfire, but any chance you get, she's black now. Why? What are you doing? Or I love Mary Jane Watson, but I'm gonna make her thick and black. And I'm not even talking about like thick with a body. I'm talking about thick with like the bitch got a gut and she's sloppy. What the hell are we doing? And it's funny because other countries will draw American characters beautiful, gorgeous, drop dead beautiful. And in here in the Western culture, we want to change the fucking characters up, like, and cover them up. Make sure that they're covered. Make sure that they're not, make sure that they're not appealing. And again, these female characters that you guys are drawing, guess what? They were designed in a male dominant franchise, and guess who's their target audience? Men. You think that you're going to get women to want to support covered up female characters? No, it doesn't work like that. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Again, if you go to most conventions, the girls are wearing the skimpy, more revealing costume that a lot of y'all, a lot of the artists nowadays be like, no, we need to cover them up. No, we don't need to cover them up. We don't need to cover them up. You know what I'm saying? Or you got companies like DC and Marvel that'll be like, because they see a lot of fan art of these characters being in same-sex relationships or with designs where the characters are now covered up, they think that that's a popular thing, and then allow writers and editors to do whatever they want to. Like, for instance, the Green Lantern Tim Sheridan run. Like, recently you had Alan Scott whore him out, which, by the way, watch the video, especially you, Fierce Apathetic Black Queen. You, where you been at? Where you been at? You be on the streams, but you ain't in the videos. I'm gonna need you to rectify that, please and thank you. My thing is, you have a character, a 1940s character. You're telling me that all of that history, all of the stories that Alan Scott Green Lantern was in from the 1940s all the way to the 1960s, or was it 1970s? No. It's still 19. No, yeah, because Crisis on Infinite Earth from 19. So all the way to 1980s, just none and void. All of that stuff where he was building up his Rose Gallery, where he fell in love with one of his villains, married her, had kids, and then, tragically she died, and the twins were put up for adoption. Then Alan Scott falls in love with another villain, the original Harley Quinn, and all of a sudden that doesn't count anymore. But now all of a sudden we're gonna make him a 1940s jazz swinger where he's whoring. No, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that excuse. I do not want to hear that excuse. Don't try that. Don't try that excuse with me. I was working all day. Hell, I work all day too. Excuses. But it's weird. It is weird. And then it's people on social media trying to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about with this character. If I don't know what I'm talking about with this character, why is everybody complaining or saying that the character's out of character? Because a lot of us read JSA. You can't sit up here and tell me that I'm wrong about Alan Scott when I have comic books featuring him with his second wife, the Harley Quinn, where he was not into men, and we get to see his bubble thoughts. So what? All of that is what, non and void all of a sudden? And don't give me that, oh well, different continuity or whatever. No, DC Rebirth was supposed to be bringing back the characters back to their classic selves before the New 52. You know what I'm saying? So you can't sit up here and say, oh, that doesn't count. Well, first off, you're retroactively adding things to a character that nobody asked for. It's the same thing with, like, right now, they're doing that with the Golden Age characters, the Flash. Him and Joan got a daughter that they never even knew they had, that was lost in the time stream, apparently. But the problem is, if you read the original Flash comic books with Jay Garrett and Joan Garrett, you know that Joan couldn't have kids, like, at all. So why would you all of a sudden retroactively add them to have a daughter? That doesn't make logical sense. That's not how that works. If a woman can't have kids, like, biologically, she can't have kids, what? You're going to retroactively add the fact that she can have a child now that she forgot about for 100 years? Come on now. That don't make no damn sense. Then the original Sandman, he is on some PTSD, postpartum depression nonsense, which, don't get me wrong, the original Sandman did deal with some shit, but the postpartum depression that the writers today are writing, and you're just like, oh god. And then it's done by Riley Rosmo, so the art is already fucking ugly to even give that book another look at. But the Flash book, the Flash book is probably the best out of all three of them. But my thing is, it's weird to add a retroactively daughter for 100 years when the Flash ain't never had that. You know what I'm saying? And you want to know why I think it's stupid? It's because Jay and Joan are the matriarchy of the Flash family in general, which means, like, Barry Allen, Wally West, all of those Flash characters, basically because they couldn't have kids. Barry Allen and the West Allen family in general became their family. You know what I'm saying? They look at the Garretts as the grandpa, the grandma, or the mother or the father of the Flash family, because it was because of them that the reason why everything started. So they created their own family through that, through the connection of the Speed Force. But to all of a sudden retroactively say that they had a daughter that they forgot about doesn't make logical sense. It just doesn't. That's why I hated that Stargirl and the Lost Children thing, because they start adding all of the JSA characters, a lot of the JSA characters, all of a sudden had teen sidekicks that they never knew about, or children that they never knew about, that some mysterious magic person took it away. And don't get me wrong, I love that Jeff Johns loves Stargirl. That's fine. But don't add brand new characters to the JSA like that. You should have went back with your JSA run where you had characters who were either the grandson, the great nephew, or whatever, or somebody that's tied to those characters taking up, like joining the JSA. That's why I liked the 2000 JSA run, when they brought in other characters that was like connected to the JSA characters. You know what I'm saying? The children of certain characters joined the JSA, but not them all of a sudden saying, oh hey, you remember these classic characters, when again, if you guys ever read their original appearances all the way throughout 1940s to the 1980s, there's no proof that they had sidekicks. Some of them did, but most of them didn't. So it's weird to add that in there. That's why I'm just like, y'all are asleep at the wheel at DC, because y'all are letting them do whatever. Because even with Jeff Johns, I would have been like, no, Johns, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I understand you can write good, but let's stop adding unnecessary characters to the DC universe. I want you to expand on the JSA characters. I want you to expand on Stargirl's world. I don't need you to retroactively add characters to them. And the reason why they disappeared is because some mysterious time paradox character all of a sudden decided that we need to kidnap all of the sidekicks. No, that's dumb. That's stupid. That's stupid. Especially when we're at the time where people do not want to keep seeing brand new characters coming out of nowhere. Because think about it, y'all probably didn't even realize that a lot of the JSA members had sidekicks or children. Because if you guys been reading JSA like I do, you know a lot of them couldn't have children or didn't have children because a lot of them didn't get married. So, okay, great. Now we got these sidekicks. Let me ask you something. Where are those sidekicks at? Where are those JSA sidekicks at? Because I read a little bit of the JSA run, the recent one for DC Rebirth. Where are those characters at? I'll wait. What was that? You don't know you don't know what I'm talking about, do you? Exactly. So you created all these brand new characters that nobody give a damn about, and they're not even appearing in books. Make that make sense. Hello. Hey, greetings from Georgia, US. I am from Georgia too, Johnny. I have seen Smallville. I grew up around the time Smallville came out. Have you seen? No, I have not seen no TG soda, whatever the hell that is. Why does Japan do American stuff better than America? I don't know. That's a good question. They call us racist and homophobe, but it's really them trying to project onto us. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. That is definitely what I wish people would keep their fetishes to themselves. Yeah, sometimes you kind of do need to keep your fetishes to yourself. It's just like, not everything needs to be posted. And then the fact that I hate the fact that we're at this degenerate point where when somebody want to see something, when people criticize the fetishes or the degradation of these characters, it's not for you, or nobody asks you to look at it. Well, it's if it's flooding my page, if it's flooding my feed, because that's what's being pushed out in the algorithm. Yeah, I am going to comment on it. Yeah, I am going to think it's stupid. Yeah, I think you need to change it because it is dumb. It is the dumb. Atlanta. It's Atlanta, Johnny. You hear what's going on with Diddy? Yeah, I heard what's going on with Diddy. Don't even care because I'm not surprised by anything that's going on with Diddy. Yeah, I hate when they say that too. It's so annoying. It's not for you. Well, technically, these characters were created for people like me. I enjoyed the characters for what they were. I didn't ask for them to be overhauled. Yeah, were there times where some of the characters you'd be like, that wasn't all that great. But nowadays we are changing characters around to the point where it's getting annoying. Like for instance, this person tried me yesterday about the female the female characters in the MCU from after Endgame, and was trying to say that, oh, it's because I have a problem with women and minorities. And I'm like, and I list all the female MCU characters that happened before Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. And I was like, well, if I have a problem with females, how come I like these female characters, right? Well, my point still stands. No, your point don't stand because you're trying to accuse me of being sexist because I don't like the fact that these female characters coming out of nowhere, and you're trying to make them better than the men. These characters come out of nowhere that are female, and they're better than the male characters. And yeah, they're vain. They're vain at best. They're not even really characters. They're really there just to show up the man. And for some reason, these men who are like 500, between 200 pounds of muscles, who has proven time and time again to save the world or beat up criminals or villains or whatever, come out of nowhere and get beat up by this female character who can't even barely lift 90 pounds. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. My mother called. Can't let y'all hear our conversations. But yeah. What was I saying? Damn it. Okay. Anyway, I was saying that the female characters from the MCU, because right now they got this new Pocahontas bitch, right? For the MCU What If series, which they claim like everybody is loving the What If series. Nobody's even watching the What If series. Don't let people fool you. People ain't watching that damn What If series. Um, and they were talking about how she's like one of the best original characters ever. And I'm just like, don't nobody even know what she does because she's not interesting. If you really want characters to be interesting, you got to stop focusing on just their abilities and stop making it where when somebody's trying to tell them something or trying to help them, they act like, oh, I know better. I can do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's not that that doesn't make logical sense. You haven't went through the journey yet. That's why I always get mad at people who always want to try to talk about, Miles Morales and be like, um, he's nothing but a black Peter Parker. But then I'm asking, like, have you read him though? Like, you're looking at him like he's one of those diverse characters. But the reason why they're doing a lot of these diverse characters is because of Miles Morales' success. So that's why I keep trying to tell people you can't you can't lump Miles in with the other diverse characters that came after him. The reason why they're doing it is because of the success of Miles, but they forgot the reason why Miles was a success was because y'all gave him character. Because you couldn't just, because people swear up and down that you could have just eat that, oh, they just race swap Peter Parker. No, no, no. They didn't race swap Peter Parker. They literally killed Peter in the Ultimate Universe, and they had a 13-year-old black Latino boy take over as Spider-Man. And honestly, they didn't really focus on the fact that he was black and Latino. Yeah, that was yeah, that is what he is. He is black and Puerto Rican. But Miguel O'Hara is also Spanish and Irish. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, certain members of the audience now that's all they want to focus on is the fact that that's what he is. And I'm like, no, that's not fair, because Miguel is Hispanic, and I don't never really see y'all focus on Miguel's Spanish Irish culture and stuff like that, because they'd be like, well, they don't really cover Miles's black and Latino side. They barely cover Miguel O'Hara's Hispanic Irish side neither. But yet, for some reason, you like that character, right? But again, there's a reason why people. There's a reason why the character was a success, though, because they made him they made him go through the journey, because he saw the death of Peter Parker, because he did get bit by a spider. With let's break that down right quick, because y'all act like if Spider-Man existed in the real world, y'all act like that nobody else would be able to genetically modify a spider to give another person that spider power. Miles was just over his uncle's house, who was a prowler, who was stealing from Oscorp, and the spider got out and bit Miles Morales. Right? It's a freak accident, right? And you have to remember, in the Ultimate Universe, people with superpowers were automatically looked at as mutants, and most people was against them. So anybody who wasn't really like an Avenger, which is Ultimates in that universe, um, people looked at them like they were monsters, and that was mutants. You know what I'm saying? And that was mutants. That was Inhumans as well. So for a 13-year-old boy to get powers, knowing that his father hates mutants because of his of work that he's been doing, where he's been dealing with capturing mutants. Why would Miles oh my god, stop calling me, ma. Okay, my bad, sorry. So anyway, y'all have to look at it like this. This is a 13-year-old boy who recently just got bitten by a spider, woke up with powers. His parents, especially his father, which he looks up to, is against people with powers. Because he actually talked to his father, kind of trying to hint at it, and his father was like, "No, I hate those mutant weirdos. I hate those muties. Anybody with special powers, I think they're all crazy." So why would he immediately start trying to crime fight? He even shared it with his best friend Genki, and he was like, "Oh, that's so cool. You can be like the second Spider-Man." And he was like, "I don't want to be Spider-Man. I don't want to be anything. I just want to be a normal kid. My dad will kill me if I have superpowers." And he was like, "Wait, you think you're a mutant?" He was like, "No, I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I hope not." And you know, throughout that time, throughout that time, Peter was fighting the Sinister Six, who discovered that he was Peter Parker. Of course, they went to his home where he was at to attack him, and of course, Human Torch and Iceman fought off the Sinister Six as much as they could. Um, but they had people who could counter Human Torch and Human Torch, and Peter, already had took a bullet from Captain America, and Captain America was like, "Hey, you're a real hero." And once all of this is over with the Ultimate, because the Ultimates was also dealing with something, you should become we should train you, because they refused to train Spider-Man, because they was like, he's too young, he doesn't need to be doing this. But the problem is, like, he got superpowers. Like, what else do you want him to do? You know what I'm saying? So Peter fought the Sinister Six, and at the time excuse me, at the time, Miles heard about the commotions or whatever, but he was scared. He didn't know what he should do, but he was hoping that Spider-Man would come in, and he even went over to the fight to think maybe he might can do something, but he couldn't bring himself to help Peter. And because of his cowardness, well, not really because of his cowardness, because he was a 13-year-old boy. Because y'all have to remember, Miles was young when he started out being Spider-Man. People don't realize Miles was 13 years old. So it's weird when they try to age up Miles in of the animated series, because when Miles became Spider-Man, he became Spider-Man at 13, while Peter became Spider-Man at 15. So a 13-year-old boy is way different than a 15-year-old boy. 15 going on 16, because I think Peter turned 16 after he became Spider-Man. I mean, like, his superheroics of being a Spider-Man it started at 16. So he had to learn that kind of stuff, and he felt like it was his fault, because he should have did something, and he shouldn't have let the fear of what everybody else thought about him stop him from helping Spider-Man. And of course, somebody needed to step in for Spider-Man, and he couldn't let people get hurt, so he got like a makeshift Spider-Man costume, and took to the streets to stop the crime wave that was happening after the death of Peter. And then, of course, people thought that Spider-Man was back or whatever. Some heroes thought that he was making fun of Peter or whatever, but he was like, "I'm just trying to do something good, because I should have been able to help," or whatever. Then of course, he talks to Peter's family and friends, and they explain, Peter's motivation, which got him to continue to be Spider-Man. Of course, some of the heroes that helped him out gave him a new costume as well. They were like, "Look, if you're gonna be Spider-Man, we need to let people know that you're a different Spider-Man, that you're not Peter Parker Spider-Man." So that's when he got the iconic black suit. You know what I'm saying? So he went through the journey and stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of the villains and characters were just like, "You'll never be Spider-Man, you'll never be Peter Parker, no matter how much you try." And juggling that while trying to keep the secret from his father, and realizing that his uncle is a criminal. So you're dealing with a lot of stuff that Peter did not deal with. So it's weird when people say that he's nothing but a black Peter Parker, because I'm like, Peter Parker didn't even go through all of this stuff. And then yeah, he's in the main continuity now, but that doesn't change his history. That's still Miles Morales. That's he still saw the death of his Peter Parker. Regardless, that's what motivated him to become Spider-Man. Um, there are always different motivations for the Spider characters, but to say he's nothing but a knockoff Peter Parker is false. He went through everything that people were criticizing the new characters after Miles. He went through. And then it's kind of funny when they be like, well, he doesn't have his own name, and he doesn't have his own villains like Terry McGinnis Batman does or whatever, stuff like that. Well, first off, Terry McGinnis Batman was made for a show. You know what I'm saying? And y'all have to remember, not every hero that stands on their own is going to have their own rogues gallery. We got plenty of Marvel characters and we got plenty of DC characters that I can tell you share don't really have their own rogues gallery. They might have one or two villains that are their own, and then after that, they are finding villains from other people's rogues gallery. It is what it is, but he's a legacy character. Of course, he's gonna be fighting Spider-Man villains. You know what I'm saying? Spider-Man and Spider-Man. There's going to be a few villains, because even Miguel O'Hara, if you look at Miguel O'Hara, he has a few original heroes, and all of his other heroes are literally 2099 versions of all of Peter's classic Spider-Man villains. But do you hear people complaining about those? No. And it was like, we just want Miles to stand on his own. He is standing on his own. He's proven that that Spider-Man can have a legacy character. That Spider-Man can have a legacy even if Peter Parker had died, or if Peter wasn't around, or if Peter needed to take some time off. Bam, you got Miles to step in for him. And then y'all act like Miles is there to literally kick Peter out. Most of the Spider-Man events are done with Peter. And guess what? Miles is mostly dealing with shit over in Brooklyn. He's really not dealing with nothing in Queens or most of New York. Yes, there was a time he was part of the Avengers. Okay, great. Or the Champions. Okay, sure. But he's not replacing Peter Parker. He's just on another team. Newsflash, it happens. You know, that's like saying every Flash or Batgirl or Robin character or Green Lantern need to have their own set of villains on their own. No, that's not how that works. That's not how any of that stuff works. The two characters can coexist. You want to know characters who are a problem is when you have characters like Miss Marvel, who is taking up the mantle of Carol Danvers' Miss Marvel thing. And if you read her book, which I read her first run, the bitch ain't got no villains. She's not even fighting any of Carol Danvers' villains. She is doing miscellaneous things. What hero journey is she going on? Nothing. She hasn't lost anything. She doesn't know the meaning of being a hero. She is in it because she's a fangirl of Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers. That's not a hero. That's why she doesn't work. You want to know why Laura X-23 female Wolverine doesn't work? Because Laura already has a code name, X-23. That's the code name that Laura took because she said she wanted people to remember that she was a villain. I mean, that she not a villain, but that she was an experiment. But she's gonna take the name that they gave her and put fear into everybody else's. You know what I'm saying? So Falcon, Captain America, Sam Wilson as Captain America. The reason why it doesn't work is because Sam is the first African-American hero in Marvel Universe. And he already stands on his own as the Falcon. So making him Captain America does not work. He was not created to be a legacy character. Oh my God, if she calls me again. Jesus Christ. Then you have who's another character that they did wrong or whatever, that was literally a race swap. She made me lose my goddamn position on the new diverse Trinity that DC tried to push on us during that future state shit. Brazilian booty Wonder Woman, gay bisexual John Kent Superman, and Black Batman, those characters don't work because they didn't earn anything. They just came out of nowhere. You aged up John Kent, so all of the growth that we could have had to grow him to that character, you said, "Nah, bump that. He's going to be aged up and he's going to be the new Superman." That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Nobody wanted that because he didn't earn that. He didn't earn that. You didn't go through any character hero's journey for that. You said, "Nah, we need to age up this 10-year-old child so he can be Superman." No, that doesn't make sense. Then Brazilian booty Wonder Woman comes out of nowhere. Comes out of nowhere. And because she has a body, let's make her Wonder Woman. And then when that didn't work, let's make her Wonder Girl, even though we already have Cassie Sandsmark as Wonder Girl. It's not earned. It's not earned. You're just calling her that just because. She could have easily just been called Yara Flor. And that's what I call her, Yara. I don't call her Wonder Girl. I don't call her Wonder Woman. She is just Yara. Kind of like how Artemis is Artemis and Donna Troy is Donna Troy. That's their superhero name, which is their real name. Black Batman, Tim Fox, whatever the fuck his ass want to call himself. The motherfucker ain't been in comic books in years. And all of a sudden, he comes back to Gotham. The Fox family has Bruce Wayne's fortune, which still to this day doesn't make any sense. And he decided to steal an experimental Batman costume that Lucius Fox was making for Batman and call himself the true Batman. Talking about Gotham City needs a real Batman and it can't be Bruce Wayne anymore. Why? First off, his brother was already Batwing. If you needed to elevate somebody into Batman at the time, if you were going to replace Bruce Wayne, for instance, it would have been Luke Fox because Luke Fox actually worked with Batman. These are reasons why these new gender swaps, diverse characters don't work, because you're not giving them the breathing room like you gave Miles. Miles had to go through 10 years of journeying to become Spider-Man, to prove to people that he's not like Peter Parker, that he is Spider-Man, but he's his own Spider-Man. And yet, every day, it's the same. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Miles Morales will never be Spider-Man. I even saw one tweet saying, if you think Miles Morales is Spider-Man, you're a pedo. Whoa, 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 whoa. Timeout, flag on a play. And what I'm trying to tell people is it makes the Spider-Man fan base look like racist because you guys are singly criticizing that one Spider-Man character. You're not criticizing Silk, who is literally female Peter Parker. You're not criticizing Spider-Gwen. You're not criticizing Ben Riley. You're not Kane Parker, Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Punk. You know what I'm saying? All of these other Spider characters that have been in and out of the continuity, comics or whatever, you're not criticizing them, but you're criticizing Miles. And you keep repeating all the bullshit that Eric July says, heel versus babyface say, Neurotic say, but y'all won't even read the fucking books, but will constantly tell people how terrible of a character he is just because Insomniac fucked up. But Insomniac fucked up with everything. But stop saying that this character isn't successful. He starred in $2 billion movies. You cannot like them, but don't sit up there and say that this character hasn't earned or hasn't done anything. He has. It's just that a lot of y'all pretend like he didn't, or you ignore everything that's went on. Lord, here we go again. Give me a second. Sorry, mama keep calling me every other damn second. Jesus Christ. But yeah, all of those characters that I mentioned, which are problems, is because the writers aren't writing anymore. These characters could have worked if you actually use the old formula. The reason why they're doing this is because Miles is successful. But for people to sit up here and say he's not a success or he's nothing but a black Peter Parker, he's nothing. He's not Spider-Man because newsflash, y'all do realize how copyright works, right? Marvel has a lot of copyrights, and some of those stuff are coming through again. So the reason why Miles is copyrighted, so just in case anything happens with the Spider-Man thing, because y'all have to understand, if they lost the copyrights for Spider-Man, they lose Peter Parker. So it's not even about replacing Peter Parker. It's about having a back foot in the door. Is it wrong that Miles was kind of created for a backdoor pilot just in case they lose Spider-Man one day? Yeah. But he still has character, because remember, She-Hulk was created for that exact reason too. Supergirl was created for that reason as well. A lot of the iconic female versions of some of the male characters, not today, but early on in comic books, were created just in case they might lose the male character. They have a backup plan. They have a backdoor pilot. You know what I'm saying? So that way people can't take Miles from Marvel, but Spider-Man can sure get but Spider-Man can sure get taken from Marvel if things don't work out. But this notion of Miles is Miles Morales because that's what they put on the book, or that's what they put on costumes, or that's what they put on for toys. Yeah, they do that because it is copyright. It's copyright stuff. But it still says Spider-Man above Miles Morales. You get what I'm saying? Just like Spider-Gwen is called Spider-Gwen, but in the book, she's not called Spider-Gwen. She's called Spider-Woman or Ghost Spider, whatever the fuck Spider she is this time around. They can't even keep a damn title for that bitch name. Spider-Man 2099. Yeah, he's called Spider-Man 2099 on the packagings or on the books, but in the books, he's called Spider-Man. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, let that shit go, because a lot of people that on social media say that it's a joke, but is it really a joke when you're constantly talking about it every day? Or if somebody say they like Miles Morales over Peter Parker, you hate the original Spider-Man, blah 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 blah. No, look, if some people like Miles Morales over Peter Parker, let them. He's not going to replace Peter like that. Yes, he was created in the Ultimate Universe to replace Peter Parker because they didn't want the Ultimate Universe to be the exact same thing as the main continuity. So they wanted to do something different. But let's stop acting like he's not a great legacy character. Again, the reason why we got all these rampant diverse characters is because he was successful. If Miles wasn't successful at all, we wouldn't got all this shit. But because Miles was successful, they said, let's go into production and do all these diversity inclusion shits. That's how we got all new, all different Marvel. And that was a mistake because they forgot the reason why Miles became successful in the first place. But I just feel like people need to stop going on this tangent of Miles Morales is Miles Morales thing. Stop pretending like he's not Spider-Man. He is a Spider-Man. He's not the Spider-Man. None of those Spider characters are the Spider characters. Stop talking about, well, I just want him to have another name. Guess what? They're not going to give him another name. Trust me, I would love for them to give him another name. I have made several videos about here are some good names that we can give Miles, but I understand they're not going to do that because they're already what, 14 years deep into this character. They're not going to give him another name. Sorry. They're they're not going to give him another name. As much as you want him to have another name, they're not going to give it to him. And that's just real talk. You know what I'm saying? My biggest problem is Miles that hasn't created any original villains. Ace, stop lying to yourself, boy. Y'all not even reading the comic books, and y'all keep saying he ain't got no original villains just because a lot of his villains aren't known. Stop saying he doesn't have original villains. He does have original villains, just nobody's reading his books. I mean, well, some people are reading his books because both Peter Parker's storyline and Miles actually do actually sell, which is crazy when people always say like Miles not even selling, but I forgot both Peter Parker's Amazing Spider-Man run and Miles Morales Spider-Man actually do sell really well. He does have some villains, but think about it. Let's take away Miles Morales for a second and Terry McGinnis. Remember, Batman Beyond was made for a TV show. Miles wasn't made for a TV show. He was made for everything else. You know what I'm saying? But let's look at it like this. You say you want him to have original characters, but how many heroes in DC and Marvel that are older than Miles Morales that really don't have any rogues gallery? Hardly. But we love them anyway, right? We love them anyway. Am I lying or am I lying? Am I lying or am I lying? There are some characters, there are some hero characters who literally had solo runs and didn't have original villains. Didn't have original villains at all in their stories. And don't we still love them? Right? Okay then. Why does every hero need to have original villains? They don't. You need to tell original stories with them, or you need to tell unique stories with them. That's more my concern. And if you've been reading the recent Spider-Man runs, you know, some of the original Miles Morales, some of the recent Spider-Man runs, he's pretty much been doing great, you know. And I know how people got mad that he was able to take his Bioshock Venom blast and actually solidify it. And people were like, that's stupid. He's a spider character. Oh, okay. But all the other spider characters have something unique about them outside of Peter Parker. So what? He was able to take his electricity and solidify it into a sword. Ooh. That's pretty interesting, honestly, to be able to control, because back in the day, Miles couldn't even control that electricity shit. Half of that shit would knock his ass out himself. So it's really actually pretty interesting to really see that his powers is changing and growing, just like how Peter Parker over time he got better with his super strength. You know what I'm saying? He was able to create web cartridges to do incredible things that most Spider-Man characters still aren't doing to this day. Like if you look at all of the spider characters, most spider characters could never do the web tricks that Peter could do at all. And you would think that they would talk to Peter and be like, "Hey Peter, how you do that? How you do that web shit right there?" You know what I'm saying? So each spider character has a little bit of uniqueness about them. That's what makes them a little different. But to say he doesn't have any original villains, to say that he's nothing but a black Peter Parker, is a falsehood. I understand we're mad at the other diverse characters, but when a real diverse character is doing well, let's celebrate it. Let's celebrate the fact that, hey, he's a successful, diverse successor who happened to be diverse. You know what I'm saying? He just happens to be a black Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all we got to do, and leave it at that. But this notion of keep tic-tacking and keep bashing this character over petty shit is stupid. What I want people to do is actually read the books. I think people will probably enjoy Miles's stories. if you get past some of the prejudice stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just know that this is a different Spider-Man. Just give it a chance. His stories aren't actually that bad. You know, I was reading the books and I really thought they were really interesting. You know, it's different. And honestly, you want to know what I want Miles to replace Peter in? I want Miles to replace Peter as the teen Spider-Man. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want Miles to do. I want Miles to come in and kick Peter Parker ass out of the fucking high school bullshit. I want Peter Parker to be a fucking adult. And I'm talking about in adaptations. Like, Marvel's supposed to be doing some new Spider-Man bullshit animated series. And instead of like putting his ass in college or having him as an adult, guess what they're doing? In high school. If you want high school Spider-Man, Miles Morales. That's what I want Miles to do. I want Miles to push Peter out of the high school young adult bullshit. I want Peter Parker to transition into an adult. You know? That's what I want. I want Miles to replace Peter Parker as the young Spider-Man. So when they think about young Spider-Man, okay, great. You can do a young Spider-Man, Miles Morales. If you want to tell a Spider-Man story, you're going to use Peter Parker when he's an adult. Because I'm sick of this shit. That's what we really should be complaining about. Y'all worried about that. I'm more worried about the fact that we keep goddamn de-aging Peter Parker and starting his ass back over again in high school. I'm sick of this shit. I don't want to see it no more. He's not interesting as fucking young Spider-Man. It's the same shit with Dick Grayson Robin. Y'all always want to try to push his ass back into the Robin role when he's Nightwing. And then all the traits you give Dick Grayson as Robin is taken from Tim Drake. But yeah, everybody be talking about Tim Drake's the boring one. What? Batman and Robin. I mean, the Batman animated series. Young Justice. And a little bit of Teen Titans, honestly. Most of everything that you've seen of Robin is based off of Tim Drake, not Dick Grayson. You know what I'm saying? That's my issue. Stop trying to push certain characters back down to these teen character versions of themselves and let them be a fucking adults. That's what Miles can do for me. That's what I want Miles to replace Peter in. The new Spider-Man show is based on Teen Spider-Man in Disney Plus. I don't know nothing about that one. Tim Drake made Robin a solo act. Yes. And that's another thing too. Everybody always want to talk about who's the best Robin or whatever. Everybody wants to say Dick Grayson. No, Dick Grayson was not the best Robin. Dick Grayson didn't even really become a standout character until he became Nightwing. Jason Todd died as Robin. Damian, he's there, but he can't hold a run like Tim Drake can. And then it's funny because somebody was trying to say, well, how come the new Tim Drake Robin run got canceled? Because don't nobody want no gay Tim Drake. That's why. Hell, Tim Drake was so successful that when he gave the mantle of Robin to Damian and became Red Robin, he was still able to keep a solo act with that character as well. Funny how that works. Cool adult characters with good writers would be great. Yes, Peter needs to be an adult. Well, look what we have here. What's up, Trey in chat? What's going on? Miles Morales, Kid Arachnid, and Spidey was very cheap name for a new Spider-Man. Yeah, and they didn't really feel like it felt like they just did that just so they can have a differential. But honestly, it's just like, come on now. After that, Peter goes across a multiverse full of Spider-Man, and they all call each other Spider-Man. And so it was kind of dumb anyway. You could have just left Miles as Ultimate Spider-Man. Just could have called him What up, Ultimate? You know what I mean? No worries, Trey. I read the comic scene. He's a great character. He's probably because of other legacy characters that are poorly written. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Blue, when he gets lumped into all those poorly written legacy characters and diverse characters that they're trying to force down our throats. And I'm just like, no, Miles already went through the journey. He earned the right. But they don't want to listen. They want to keep throwing this whole Miles Morales is Miles Morales, and that's it. He'll never be Spider-Man. He's not going to replace Peter Parker. No one said he's going to do that. He is just a successor. He's his successor. I don't get that nonsense. Now, another thing too is that I also want to kind of talk about, because it also kind of goes back into the social media thing, is I haven't seen Rebel Moon yet. The only reason why I haven't seen Rebel Moon, because when it came out, I had to go back to work, and I haven't had the time to really sit down and watch it, which I'm planning to see it today. It's just that, late it was a late day at work yesterday. I didn't get home until really late last night, and I was like, man, coming back to work and then you got to work really late. Nope. I mean, again, Christian, I already explained the reason why Miles Morales is called Miles Morales on boxes and stuff like that is for copyright merchandise stuff. They already copyright Miles Morales before they did Kid Arachnid, probably. And at this point, Marvel probably looks at it like Miles Morales is fine. You know what I'm saying? Um, and Kid Arachnid, no, because he's a teenager now. Why would you still call him Kid Arachnid? Now, when he first started, in the Ultimate Spider-Man run, you could have called him that, but because he is like 16 now, you can't call a 16-year-old Kid Arachnid. No, absolutely not. I'd be like, boy, stop. um but yeah, I want to bring up the Rebel Moon thing because it is what I predicted. Whether the movie's good or not, I already predicted that. I said, watch, this movie gonna come out. It's probably gonna do well, but then they're gonna try to underball it. They're gonna try to undersoft it by saying, oh well, even though it got this many views, it's still a failure. And okay, Ace, and guess what? He's a household name. Black Canary is a household name. Green Arrow is a household name. And guess what? In Arrow, most of his damn villains were Batman villains. I ain't hear nobody saying, Green Lantern should have his own villains. And if you read most of Green Arrow's books, he still don't really have that many original villains. And the same thing with the Flash. Most Flashes share villains. Jay Garrett, Wally West, Barry Allen, Impulse, all of them share villains. Do we hear anything about that? No. And they're household names. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I could see Miles annoyed with being called that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no. Like, you can't call Wally Kid Flash in the Arrowverse because he's in his 20s still. Yeah, and that was weird when they called him Kid Flash still. That's when, like, even now, if you guys are reading the recent Flash book, which, oh God, why did they get rid of Jeremy Adams off of that Flash run? He was doing such a good job at Wally West. So if you guys were reading the original Jeremy Adams Flash run with Wally West as the star, thank God. Barry Allen is in there. They call him Flash. Jay Garrett is in there. He's called Flash. The Flash of China is in there. She is called Flash sometimes, but they'll call her by her name. For some reason, nobody cares that, because they still call her the Flash. They call Wallace Kid Flash. They call Impulse, of course. But what I'm saying is, you got 5 Flashes in one book, and nobody Nobody has a problem with that. You get what I'm saying? And again, looking at the Flash books, just for example, a lot of them share villains. Like some of them might have one or two or three villains of their own, but most of them share the same villains. Most of the villains go after anybody that's Flash. You get what I'm saying? So again, household name, right? Household name. And they all sharing villains. They're all sharing villains. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Supergirl. She's still taking on characters from Superman's rogues gallery too. Yeah, she has a few of her own, but she's still taking on Superman rogue gallery characters. Household name. So come on now, come off with that. He needs more villains of his own just because Batman Beyond did it. And honestly, guess what? Where is Batman Beyond? I love Terry McGinnis, but where is Batman Beyond? Because Terry can't hold a book. You know, as much as you guys like to praise Batman Beyond or praise Static Shock, for God's sakes, Static and Batman Beyond can't hold titles. Or when they try to make merchandise stuff for them outside of that stuff, it doesn't sell. Again, I'm not saying that Terry McGinnis and Virgil Hawkins aren't great characters. Do not sit up here and say I said that. But they aren't selling like Miles. And what y'all like to say Static is an original black character? That yeah, he is. He definitely is. Terry McGinnis is a successor of Batman. Yeah, he is. But they can't seem to crack it. You know what I'm saying? Like him. And it sucks, but it just shows that if you put a little bit more writing into it, because I blame the writing for the reason why Static and Batman Beyond aren't doing much or nothing, and for those characters. Because if you read the recent Batman Beyond stuff, you read the recent Static stuff, it's not interesting. Why would people care? You get what I'm saying? It's not interesting. But for some reason, excuse me, with Miles, they were able to build him up throughout the books, while Batman Beyond and Static was built through the shows a little bit more so than anything else. So when they do get to the books, they're not written like they were written in the show, so people aren't interested in them. But Miles was cul-de-saced and grow up. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Ace, do not sit up here and lie. Do not sit up here and lie about Green Arrow and the Flash not being household names. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They were on the CW. The CW projected through the world. People know who the Flash is. People know who Green Arrow is. Do not lie. Do not lie. They suck, but the shows suck. But people know who they is. People know who they are, you know. But again, a lot of those characters did not have original villains like that. You know what I'm saying? And if we really want to talk, the Flash was really stealing everything from Wally West, the white one, not the black one. You know what I'm saying? And again, Arrow was literally borrowing villains from Batman's rogues gallery. He had maybe a few original villains. After that, most of that shit was Batman shit. I was like, what? Y'all should have just called him Batman. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wow. Wally has Zoom. Barry has Thong. Oh, wow. Didn't I just say that every Flash has at least one or two original villains? And then after that, they share the rest. So if Miles have at least about 5 original villains and he shares some with Spider-Man, he's still doing a good job. Jesus Christ. Everybody always trying to come up with other excuses when the answers are right there. It's right there. It still works. you know. But hell, for God's sakes, Wonder Woman is one of the most iconic superheroes of all time, and most people can't even name half of her villains. You know what I mean? And she has successors too. You got Donna Troy, Wonder Girl, Artemis, Nubia, and guess what? A lot of them share Diana's villains too. But you know what I mean? Like nobody says anything about that. It's funny. Like we're so hyper focused on just this one thing with this one character, but we keep ignoring all of the failures of the other characters. It's weird, you know. Would I count Vertigo as the perfect villain for Green Arrow? Yes. I think characters like Static and Batman, the executives didn't view the characters as profitable, and the execution with promotion in these characters haven't been the best. Well, no, they kind of had to though, Prince, because the reason why they were commissioned was because not only did they want a show for the kids to watch, they did create, merchandise surrounding. Because I remember having Batman Beyond merchandise stuff. It wasn't that much for Static, but I do remember them throwing out a few things. You know what I'm saying? Did you hear about that new Wonder Woman figure from McFarlane Toys? The one where she's in her classic costume. Yes, I saw that one, and I'm like, finally, she's in her classic costume. Praise be the Jesus. Praise be the Jesus. I was mad as hell when they introduced the League of Shadows. Yes, me too, Elijah. I was like, man, get the out of here with this. Like, no, come on, stop it. Stop it. Why are Batman villains showing up in Arrow? I think they could have made a good Flash cartoon show back then. Me too. Me too. I think they definitely could have did that. That would have been nice. That definitely would have been nice. But another time, another place, right? It's also a repaint. Yeah, I know it's a repaint. Sadly, too bad Vertigo was introduced in Superman and Lois and was wasted as a cancer mom in the show. Oh shit! Hold on, I haven't seen that one. Well, no, Vertigo was introduced in Arrow first. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say. Superman and Lois is still part of the Arrowverse. They can kiss my ass with that bullshit. A lot of they no, absolutely not. They are in the same universe. They even did a whole comic book line called Earth Prime, where all of the Arrowverse characters crossed over in each other's stories. And then they had one issue where they all teamed up to take on somebody. Like, get the hell out of here with that shit. Shut up, Arrowverse. I'm talking about they ain't part of the Arrowverse. Yes, the fuck they is. You seen What If season 2? No, I didn't even watch What If season 1. Like, why would I care about that? No, thank you. No, thank you. But yeah, like I was saying, let me get back onto my whole thing about the whole Rebel Moon thing, because I already knew The Usual Suspects was going to come out of nowhere and they were going to throw hate on it, and everybody was like, "Well, it's a knockoff of this movie or whatever," and I'm like, "Huh." You do realize that every movie is a knockoff of another movie. It's always funny when you always hear like people talk about Avatar, James Cameron Avatar, and when they talk, and now they're talking about Rebel Moon, they're like, it's just a knockoff of this movie. Okay, but he's doing something different with it, just like James Cameron doing something different with the other one. Stop acting like a lot of stories are just original. He's doing something original with the concept, and he's creating his own world with it. So I'm just like, hey, let him cook. Let him cook. That's how I look at it. Let him cook. You know what I mean? But it is weird that I'm starting to see the same usual suspects of, oh, no one watched this show. Oh, Netflix shouldn't have put money into it. Oh, it only did this much views or whatever. Ooh, it's female empowerment or whatever, stuff like that. It's this and that, or it's one of the most horrible movies ever. I just don't understand the slow motion or whatever. And the fight scenes aren't realistic because, you know, the main character, she's really not that much of a fighter. So so sometimes when she's fighting characters, she falls, she clumps through some of the fight scenes or whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, if she's not a real fighter and she's trying to fight to defend herself and her friends, yes, the fight scenes would be clumsy. You know what I'm saying? It's too dark or whatever, and it's a little depressing because it's like, what did you think the movie was supposed to be? Did you think the movie was supposed to be lighthearted, or did you think every movie was supposed to be hopeful? When I was watching Oppenheimer, I didn't be like, this movie would be better if it was a little lighthearted. No, I knew what the hell I was getting into. Not every action movie is going to be, heroic or whatever. So a lot of the criticism that I was seeing from people, I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. And then for people to say nobody watched Rebel Moon, if nobody watched Rebel Moon, why are there so many people talking about it then? There are so many people saying how terrible this movie was. And some people, the people who even said that it was terrible, watched it several times to get something from it. So if the movie didn't move well, if the movie didn't do well, people didn't like it, it's not charting like you guys say it is one of the worst movies you ever seen. Why did you go and why did people keep going and watching it? Why did you keep watching it then? Why did you watch it in the first place if nobody watched it? And then now people were like, oh, because Moist Critical said something about it, that means the movie sucks. So I'm supposed to take the opinion of Moist Critical? I'm sorry. No offense to Moist Critical, but from what I be seeing, he doesn't really like a lot of stuff. I'm not saying he probably does like stuff, but a lot of the videos that I see or whatever, is him literally talking about how terrible this is, and then he goes and bash the person or whatever in the movie or the show or even the person themselves. But I really want people to stop calling Snyder's fans cultists, because every fandom has some toxicity in it. And if Snyder's fans are cultists, then what are the anti-Snyder's Snyder fandom is? Wouldn't that make y'all also cultists as well? Right? You know what I'm saying? And then it's funny. It goes back to the Eric July thing. You tell a person, do something original. They do something original, but because it's not in the way that you want it, because it's not in the way you want it, therefore it is horrible now. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any logical sense. First off, we already knew Rebel Moon was kind of like a Star Wars thing because the story was supposed to take place in the Star Wars universe. Zach said that several times over. He said it's basically for the people who grew up with Star Wars, the George Lucas stuff. So how are you upset that he was rejected, so he rewrote the stories to create his own Star Wars universe, sort of, and now it's a knockoff of Star Wars? So was Star Trek. So was Star Wars itself was a knockoff. You get what I'm saying? Why does everything need to be something automatically needs to be this or that in order for it to work? And the reason why I'm not believing half of these negative reviews is because y'all always say this shit when Zack Snyder movies come out. This isn't like, this would be different if this was like every other movie or something like that. But this is every time Snyder release a movie, it is the same shit. It is not. It not only is it's the same people who are criticizing it. It is the same people that are, you know what I'm saying. And it's the same thing on social media. It is the same thing over and over and over again. At this point, I would have been more surprised that I saw more videos saying Rebel Moon was a masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm saying that the movie is a masterpiece. It probably has issues. It probably has pacing issues, which Netflix did admit that they did cut the fucking movie. So what I'm saying is, I rather wanted to see more positive, not positive, but in the middle reviews. And I'm not seeing in the middle reviews. I'm seeing more of the same thing. And every time I click on a video just to see what somebody's saying, everybody is saying the same damn thing over again when it comes to Rebel Moon. I find that strange. Nobody finds that weird. Y'all don't find that weird. I find that extremely weird. At least when Aquaman 2 and the Marvels came out, at least I was seeing videos of people saying, I love the Marvels. I loved Aquaman 2 and the Lost Kingdom. And then I was seeing people, Aquaman 2 was okay. The Marvels was okay. And then I was seeing a video saying the Marvels suck. Aquaman 2 suck. That's what I wanted to see. But I'm seeing more. I'm seeing more videos saying how terrible of a director Zack Snyder is, how terrible of a person he is, how horrible his movies are. He needs to stop directing. He's a horrible person or whatever. And I'm just like, what the fuck are y'all getting this shit from? He's like probably one of the nicest people in Hollywood. And it's just like, damn, this man has lost a daughter. And ever since he lost his daughter, it has been nothing but a bashing on this man. Every day, every week, every hour. It's the same thing with the Miles Morales thing. It is every week, every hour, on the dot. And I'm just like, wow, this is weird. This is weird. And now it's come to find out that some of the people who were reviewing it, because, you know, some of y'all want to listen to some of the critics on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, a lot of the ones that were throwing headlines talking about how horrible Rebel Moon was, come to find out those articles was done before the movie even was premiered, and a lot of those people didn't even watch the movie. So now we got people faking the reviews, talking about how bad the movie is. That's weird. And I'm not sitting up here saying that some of the usual suspects didn't watch the movie. I'm quite sure they did watch the movie, but I think they also went in the movie in there and was like, I don't like I already don't like Zack Snyder anyway. I already know that he already said that this movie was supposed to be a knockoff Star Wars movie. So you're already going in there with the mindset. I said that to people. I said some of y'all are already going to go in that movie with the mindset, and you're going to come out with the mindset that I already predicted, which was this. And I just find it weird. I find it weird. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting up here saying that the movie's perfect. The movie probably has flaws. Who knows? I might like it, I might not like it. But if I don't like it, or if I do like it, I'm going to give it a fair shake. I'm not going to sit up here and criticize every little small detail or try to take Hollywood stuff that I know from previously and incorporate it into Zack Snyder stuff. You know what I'm saying? Rebel Moon should have been R-rated. I heard that too. And Netflix said that they purposely cut the movie because they thought that people would enjoy the PG-13 movie first. Now they're releasing the R-rated version now because people want to see the R-rated version. And I'm like, Netflix, you should have just did R-rated to begin with, stupid. And then admitted to cutting the man's movie. Look, you commissioned him to do a movie. Don't cut the movie down. He already dealt with that shit with WB. Why would you make the same mistake that WB did? That makes no sense. Dumbasses. Do you think 2023 was a historical year for Hollywood? A historical flop? A historical flop. A historical flop. That's what I think it was. So yeah. That's exactly what I think it is. um. Oh, hold on, y'all. Making sure that. Scooby, pup named Scooby Doo. I want to see Zach's true attention for his Rebel Moon vision. Yeah, and James Gunn is repetitive, and people did it because he did movies for Disney. Yeah, it is kind of funny. It is kind of funny how, think about it like this: Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice was criticized for having too many people in there in a Batman Superman movie, right? But then James Gunn announced that he's doing Superman Legacy, and it got a bunch of heroes and villains showing up in that movie, and yet people are like, "Oh, this is gonna be awesome! This is gonna be this is gonna be so much better." But I was like, "Wait, hold on! Didn't y'all criticize Zack Snyder for doing the same thing when he had a lot of villains and characters in a Batman versus Superman movie?" Yeah, he was doing too much of that movie, but James Gunn's doing amazing. What? He got about 20 different characters that aren't even related to Superman in a Superman solo movie. That's weird. That's weird. Okay, fine, whatever. And on top of that, I don't see how anybody is liking James Gunn right now, because the fact that the fact that he set up there and announced a reboot for the DC universe while they had 5 fucking DC movies that need to be released this year, that is a problem. That is stupidity. I don't care that David Zaslav commissioned him to do it. He's the face of DC, of the DC studio, so the blame is going to be on James Gunn. Any moron could have told you this was stupid. This was career suicide to announce a reboot of your live action DC movie and then tell them, "Oh, we got these movies are still coming out." At that point, you might as well put them on streaming services and called it a day. They lost money on this shit, and I'm sorry. I have to blame James Gunn for that. You should announce this shit in 2024. That doesn't make logical sense. It didn't make the sense God gave. Who announces a reboot of your entire filming universe, but still tell people to show up for your films? That doesn't make sense. Peter should have found a way to create Parker's Industries of his own valuation. You can still have every man nature natural nature of the events after dismantling of the previous one, but create it honestly. Yeah, I would hope Blue Wind. That's what I was thinking that they would try to do. The views I watch are criticizing how many characters Superman Legacy are. That's great, but a lot of people who are excited about James Gunn stuff are saying that this is going to be really cool because he's going to be able to give us the Superman that we want, even though he did Brightburn. Yeah, he loves Superman so much. I don't understand why we're having 2 theatrical Batman movies at once. Well, Elijah, that Batman movie that we had with Robert Pattinson was supposed to be Ben Affleck's Batman movie, and WB should shut the hell up and let Ben Affleck do his Batman movie. Morons. How the hell you waste Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck is the most criminal thing ever. I'm not a huge fan of Snyder's movies, but they are entertaining to watch. And I don't get the hate and his fans get so much. That's what I'm saying. People suck off to James Gunn because he did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Yeah, that's what he is. Just left Midtown Comics in New York City, right? Isn't that in New York City? Isn't that I think isn't Midtown Comics in New York City, right, Christian? Marvel and DC has both hit rock bottom. Yeah. You don't think Netflix throws Zack Snyder under the bus like WB? He doesn't deserve so much hate. Ace, I don't know, because Netflix sat up there and did the same thing WB did. Like Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice was cut into pieces, and the same thing with his Justice League movie. And then when people watch his original version, everybody was like, "This was better than the theatrical cut. Why did you cut the movie?" You know what I'm saying? So I didn't understand why Netflix would even do that. Because you're on streaming service, you know? Giving the Flash director the Batman DCU films. Ugh. Oh, so that is Midtown Comics. Yes, nice. That's really awesome. Excuse me. Zack Snyder does something people hate but praise James Gunn. That's what I'm saying. They swear up and down Zack Snyder is like the worst person alive or whatever. And then another thing that I want to talk to you guys about is that we need to realize something about the DC movies that it took a while for me to realize, but we say that we want lighthearted, heroic movies from DC or whatever and stuff like that, like Superman the movie. But guys, I just realized something. DC comic book movies do better when they're serious. Shocker. I know. Shocker. If you think about it, when the DC movies are taken seriously, they do better. When they're a little bit darker, they do better. When they're lighthearted, a little bit goofy or whatever, they don't do well. Did y'all notice that? Like seriously, like I'm being serious. The top grossing DC movies, most of those movies don't have they don't have that lighthearted stuff that everybody was asking for, that people claim that they want Superman, Batman, and them to be like. I'm not trying to be funny, but really look at the highest grossing DC movies of all time. Matter of fact, let me pull up the list so you guys can see it, because I know you guys are probably like, let me see it. So nope. That is an old list. Yeah, I can't trust that other one. Hold on, because let me pull up the list. All right. Where I'm at. Okay, there I'm at. Okay. Ooh, you picked up World's Finest, Green Lantern War Journal, and the JSA 2006 run. Oh, I love the 2006 run. Hold on, let me share this right quick, because I want you guys to look at this. Just we're looking at the highest grossing DC films. All right. So Aquaman, Dark Knight Rises, The Joker, The Dark Knight, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, Wonder Woman, The Batman, Suicide Squad, Man of Steel, Justice League. Then after that, see, now we come to Batman. Oh my God, Black Adam. Holy crap, Black Adam did better than Superman Returns, Batman Begins, Shazam, Batman Forever, Superman the movie. See, while all y'all were talking about, oh, we need more movies like Superman the movie, look, Superman Returns, Superman Returns was a sequel to the Christopher Reeve movies. The Flash, oh God, Jesus, Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, Green Lantern, Birds of Prey, Superman 2, Watchmen. That's because y'all didn't release the real version. That's why that didn't do well. Wonder Woman 1984, The Suicide Squad, Shazam Fury of the Gods, Superman 3, Superman 4, right? So notice what I'm saying. Dark Knight Rises, The Joker, Dark Knight, Superman, Batman vs Superman, Wonder Woman, The Batman, The Suicide Squad, Man of Steel, and even Justice League, for God's sakes, did better. And you want to know why? Because they were darker takes on the characters. You know what I'm saying? They were darker. They were a little bit darker. They were serious. They took the stories seriously. No matter how much people want to be like, we want a little bit, we want the lighthearted nature. No. And you want to know why I know y'all lying? Is because if you watch the DCAU, the DCAU was not the lighthearted animated series that people like to pretend it was. Batman the animated series, no. Superman the animated series, occasionally. Static Shock, maybe is a little bit more for lightheartedness. The Zeta Project was definitely lighthearted to the point where people were just turned off by that shit. That's why it only lasted for 2 seasons. Then you got Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. If you watch Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, it's not lighthearted. It is not, oh, sunshines and rainbows and Superman is smiling all the time. No, it is serious. That's what I keep trying to tell people. The reason why people were so interested in what Snyder was doing with the DCEU is because he was doing something different from the Marvel Universe. The Marvel Universe took these characters and made them lighthearted, which honestly, outside of X-Men the animated series, most of Marvel stuff was lighthearted. And I'm talking about a lot of the cartoon shows. You know what I mean? But DC, even a lot of their cartoons really were more adult. It was targeted to us, but it had a lot of adult themes in it. It was darker and action driven. And that's why the darker action driven DCEU movies did better than the comedy bullshit. But people don't want to admit that shit. They want Superman the movie style stuff. They want Batman and Robin style stuff. But that shit didn't do well. Like, look at that. The Suicide Squad. The first Suicide Squad movie that everybody likes to bash on for being terrible. Look at its rating. Look at where it's at. Number 8. Grossing $800 million. And if you look at Suicide Squad movie and then you compare it to wait, hold on. The Suicide Squad movie, excuse me. This movie was too lighthearted. That's why it didn't work. Compared to this movie, compared to this one. You want to talk about this was terrible because of the Joker stuff? Yeah, the Joker crap was terrible. But let's be honest. This worked better for the audience than this. The Suicide Squad merchandise does not sell that much compared to this one. They're still selling records. And I'm talking about the album. The movie album still sells. People still love the aesthetics of Suicide Squad over the Suicide Squad. People still dress up as these versions of the Suicide Squad characters compared to the new Suicide Squad. I'm just being honest. This movie does better than the other movie. And I'm telling you, it's because it is darker than the original, than the Suicide Squad movie. You know what I'm saying? And then think about it too. Let's even go up to this one, right? Aquaman, the first Aquaman movie. It had a few jokes in it, but for the most part, this movie was mostly serious. Now, but let's go all the way to what? Hold on. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Okay, so they haven't rated. Have they rated it yet? Damn, what the hell is that movie at? I guess Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, because it's in theaters, it hasn't been grossed it yet. But Aquaman 1 is doing better than Aquaman 2. But I hear from people that Aquaman 2 is too jokey. And it takes away all the character development that Aquaman did in the first Aquaman movie. you can hate this movie all you want to, or say it wasn't that great to Aquaman, but it treated the character with respect. Something that the second movie just said, fuck it. And I keep trying to tell y'all, it doesn't work. This comedy routine, this family friendly bullshit, it might work for Marvel, but it doesn't work for DC. It never has. It never has. There are lighthearted moments in DC, but for the most part, they do better when they're taken serious, when it's a darker atmosphere. Damn, James Gunn, Suicide Squad only made 55 million. Yeah, it did. And nobody's buying James Gunn Suicide Squad. They'll buy the original Suicide Squad over the regular over James Gunn Suicide Squad. That's why it make no sense to give James Gunn the keys to the kingdom. You might as well have gave that to David Ayer, who actually did the first Suicide Squad movie. So I can't blame him for getting upset at the fact, like, hey, y'all butchered my movie. It still did well. It won a few Oscars, and you still won't release my director's cut. But then you're going to give James Gunn the keys to my movie, do a sequel. It didn't do well, but he's going to be in charge of DC. I feel some kind of way too. I see more stuff at Spencer's of the first Suicide Squad, like wallets and glasses, than James Gunn take. That's what I'm saying. If you go to Spencer's, there is so much of the original DCEU stuff, including, you know what I'm saying, before Zack Snyder left. That is ridiculous. People like the first part of the DCEU. Once Zack left, once we got to Shazam after Aquaman, all of that shit went out the window. Yeah, I would have took. I think David Ayer should have been in charge over James Gunn. We can use less jokes about heroes being silly and Aquaman having sex with fish. It's a huge turnoff. And John, guess what they did? They did that bullshit in the second Aquaman movie, I heard. And it's just like, no, don't nobody want that. People are so accustomed to Disney's Marvel, and it doesn't allow other movies to have their own thing. Yeah, because when DCEU was doing something successful, and let's even talk about this. Y'all got to realize something. Man of Steel wasn't supposed to even start a DC cinematic universe. Man of Steel was supposed to be a trilogy. It was going to be about Superman, 3 movies. Then Warner Brothers saw Man of Steel. They saw the success that they got from Man of Steel, but they didn't like the backlash they got at the end of it. And they commissioned Zack and said, hey, scrap your movie and do Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. And then what you're going to do with this movie, not only are you going to introduce Batman, you're going to also lead it up to doing a prequel for Wonder Woman. Bam, Wonder Woman. And then you're going to follow that up with a Justice League movie, because they were trying to catch up to Marvel at the time, which you didn't even need to do this. You could have let Zack do Man of Steel 2. I would have did Man of Steel 1, Man of Steel 2. Then we would have did the Batman movie, which not with Robert Pattinson, but this would have had Ben Affleck in it, right? You do that movie, then you do Wonder Woman. Then you would do Then you would do hold on. Then you would do a Green Lantern movie. You know, you would do a Green Lantern movie like this. Then you would do a Flash movie. Oh God, no, don't click on it. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. You would do a Flash movie, and then you would do Aquaman movie, right? Once those movies are done, then we get to Justice League. All right. That's what I would have did. Then after the events of Justice League, then you would have did the Suicide Squad. Then you would have did Man of Steel 3. Then you would have did a sequel to the Batman 2. and then you would have did Wonder Woman, but not 1984. You would have did a Wonder Woman 2, but she would have been in the present. Then you would have did something like a Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice, where they're kind of fighting with each other to on what to do with the whole Justice League. The events of Justice League, because Darkseid is coming, which kind of caused them to kind of be at rifts with each other, because Batman believes that Superman might be the cause of what's going on or whatever, something like that. Then you could do a Black Adam movie, but I wouldn't have called it Black Adam. It would have been called JSA. And then, of course, that would have spun off for Shazam, of course. And then if you needed to do one, then I would have did a Shazam Superman movie. That way you can have Superman and Shazam do a movie, which could have led to maybe a solo Black Adam movie, or the sequel, which was Shazam Fury of the Gods, but it wouldn't have been called Fury of the Gods. It would have been Masters of y'all know the Society of Evil, whatever. I'm drawing a blank right now. You know what I mean? And then after the events of Suicide Squad, then you would have then you could have did Birds of Prey, which was formed after the events of the Suicide Squad movie, but that would have been formed with Barbara Gordon, Black Canary, and Huntress trying to hunt down something, but Harley Quinn is kind of involved with it as well. You know what I'm saying? Then, like this one, because they were talking about it was originally supposed to happen, a Joker movie with Harley Quinn. This wouldn't have been whatever the fuck this is. This would have been a Joker Harley Quinn movie, pretty much. And that would have led to a Batman 3 movie or a Batman 2 movie, depending on where we want to place it at. And then, of course, that would have led into another Justice League movie right here. After the events of all of that's happening, that would have led up to a Justice League movie, of course. Then I would have probably did maybe a Flash or Aquaman 2 movie in between that one, or a Green Lantern movie, or introduce maybe something else. And then, of course, we would have tied it all together with Justice League 3. Well, no, before that, Man of Steel 3 would have had to happen. Then ended with Justice League. Then ended with the Justice League with like some kind of Crisis on Infinite Earth kind of thing, and then you would have been able to recast all these characters into young versions of themselves. But you would have at least had these characters been able to do 10 years worth of movies. But that's just my personal opinion. If WB didn't panic. I think the issue were issues was that they were releasing random films without a plan. Yeah, like you didn't have a plan after Snyder left. You were, everybody was so adamant about getting rid of Snyder that they didn't have a plan afterwards. What was the plan after he left? Stupid. Superhero comic book needs to return to sexy, femme fatale, tough guys with a mix of lighthearted yet serious stories. Enough of the YA stuff, unless you make that branch. Yeah, you're right, Blue Wind. How would y'all feel if DC film tones be like Marvel Phase 1? I mean, I'll be okay with how Phase 1 started, because Phase 1 didn't have Disney involved. They were already making those movies without Disney. Really. So that's what I would have did. But we need to realize that people don't like the lighthearted stuff that y'all claim that y'all want, because Superman Returns was a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody was talking about they wanted classic Superman. Okay, Superman Returns was literally the 5th movie for the Superman franchise with Christopher Reeves. Yeah, y'all didn't realize that Superman Returns was the sequel to Superman 4: Quest for Peace. Sure was. And guess what? We didn't like it. That's why we got Man of Steel. Trey, what's your plans if you were in charge of WB to introduce the Teen Titans? What would I have done how would I have introduced the Teen Titans? Oh shit, fuck. I can, after after I just said all of these movies and stuff like that, well, I would probably have to follow that up after the events of the Batman 2 movie with Ben Affleck in it. And I would have it where Dick Grayson did show up in Batman 2, and then he left to go and do something, go and do his own thing or whatever. And then what happened is, I would have it being like a spaceship is coming towards Earth, which is Coriander, and she's being chased by whatever. And you would also see a girl sitting in some room or whatever and stuff like that, trying to hold it together, which that would, kind of hint at Raven. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely have it where the Dick Grayson is, I want to say he's in Bloodhaven, but he's in California for school or whatever. And and after the events of the Batman 2, he realized that he needs to like be a little bit more independent after his stint in Bloodhaven. We don't really need to see that because they already jumped with Batman anyway. So he was thinking that he might need to create a team of his own too, just in case the Justice League ever fails or whatever. So what would happen is Starfire's ship would crash land somewhere in the Bay of San Francisco. She would escape or whatever and stuff like that. Nightwing would show up, but other heroes will also kind of show up as well. This kind of gets all of the characters kind of meeting, but they don't really see each other at that time until like spaceships start to come down to San Francisco and kind of like attacking the civilians, where some of these heroes come out to play. In my rewrite, I don't think Cyborg would be part of the Justice League. This will be where we'll see his appearance is in Teen Titans. That's just my personal opinion. And you would see the characters that I would choose. I would base them off of the new Teen Titans run. So of course you would have Nightwing, you would have Starfire, Donna Troy, you would have Raven, Cyborg, Beast Boy, and Wally West, Flash, and you will also have Tempest, Aqualad, and you will also have Bumblebee in that team. That way you give a good little mixture of characters or whatever, and they will all team up to fight the invasion or whatever. Not the invasion, but the aliens that was trying to capture Starfire, and they'll defeat them for a little bit, and that'll kind of be like on a little standard, thing or whatever. They all talk to each other afterwards. At first, Starfire can't understand anything until she kissed Dick Grayson or whatever, and she kind of introduced herself, and then they kind of all introduced themselves, and then Dick Grayson was like, hey, we all kind of created a cool team, and Corey needs a place to stay. Why don't we kind of like, come into this little cool bunker thing that I got, because he has money or whatever, some kind of little penthouse thing or whatever. That'll be what will be the new Teen Titans base, sort of. And at first Raven didn't want to join, but Starfire kind of insisted because she did help save her life or whatever. And I would still have it where the main reason why they get together is because of the invasion of the not the Tamarans, but the alien group that that Coriander escaped or whatever. So they got to try to fight that off and stuff like that, because they want to try to show that they don't need the Justice League for everything or whatever. The middle part will be them trying to get together, be a team or whatever, learn about each other, a little bit of backstory for each character, and then of course the final battle will be them fighting off of the mercenaries that are trying to stop Starfire or whatever, and then Raven will be able to destroy them using her powers or whatever. But that would kind of lead to the people, the church, the Church of Blood discovering where Raven's location at, which that will hint for the sequel movie for them to take on Trigon. You know what I'm saying? So that will be something that I would do. But that's how I would introduce the Teen Titans into the DCEU. But yeah, that's what I would do. But man, oh god, this is like 2 hours of stuff. So yeah, oh yeah, that Suicide Squad killed Justice League shit. That shit was stupid. It looks terrible. I don't like what they're doing. And then some people are trying to take up for Rocksteady and trying to say that a lot of the stuff was fake. Well, if it was fake, why are they trying to copyright strike anybody saying anything negative about it? Or if you post any pictures or something like that, these leaks can't be fake if you're copyright striking people's channels. That's how I look at it. But you know what? I mean, Blackfire could be there. That she could be there because she did sell her sister and stuff like that. So that could be something. But I don't want it to be Koriand'r versus her entire race. But I forgot it was another alien race that Koriand'r did sell them to, so that could be work. That they should have had a Justice League game instead. That's what I'm saying, Omega. Who the fuck want to kill the Justice League when I wanted a Justice League game instead? Like, that's so stupid. Like, these weirdos are ugh. It's disgusting. But yeah. The Justice League, the Suicide Squad Kill Justice League game is going to fail, and when it does fail, they're going to blame us or whatever. And honestly, guys, Marvel Spider-Man 2, the Wolverine game, don't even bother playing them hoes. Jean Grey looked like a fucking trans man. Of course she does. Wolverine looks boring. Honestly, if you really need to play a Wolverine game, go play X-Men Origin Wolverine. If you need to play a Spider-Man symbiote game, play Ultimate Spider-Man and play Spider-Man Web of Shadows. That's what you need, because these AAA games, they fucking bullshit. They fucking bullshit. And if you need a Justice League game you want to play Justice League Heroes, DC versus Mortal Kombat, DC Online, Injustice, the first one. Other than that, you don't need this nonsense. It's tiring. It is really tiring. But I got to go, y'all. I completely looked at this time and I got to go. Blackfire will be a good antagonist for the second, then Slade for the third one. Yeah, Slade would definitely be a third character for the finale of the story, but definitely the second one would have been Trigon, and finish it up with Slade as being the main villain for them, with the Church of Blood in the second movie. The first one would be Blackfire and that other alien race that she has against them, and have Slade kind of be in cahoots with Darkseid, because you want to have all of that stuff tied to the Legion of Doom stuff that they were planning on doing for the Justice League movie. So that's why you would want to tie that together. But yeah, some people were trying to defend Child Poison Ivy, saying it makes sense for her being 9 years old. No, usually when Poison Ivy dies and regenerates, she kind of comes back as a grown woman. I never seen that shit before, you know. No, we're not even talking about Justice League Dark at this point. I'll be here a little bit longer than that. But yeah, thanks for joining my live chat. This was really fun, but since it's 2 hours, I got to go. Thanks for everybody who joined and watched. And if you guys want to watch it, sure. If not, and that's fine too. If you guys want to follow the social medias, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter are the same. So Trey Mikkel, I appreciate if you guys like, follow, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. So yeah, but I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.